little star.
Well, we've been telling you about little Sarah's desperate fight for a lung transplant and her family's plea to change the rules so that their little girl has a chance at life.
They say that they can't measure how sick a child is. Well, you know what? Come to my hospital room and you will see how sick Sarah is. She is dying. She is dying.
Sharon Ruddock is the aunt of 10-year-old Sarah Murnahan, who needs a lung transplant. She's with us now from Philadelphia to stress just how important this is. Good morning to you, Sharon.
Good morning, Gretchen.
We just heard your sister's desperate plea for her child. I can't imagine what she's going through, or for that matter, what you're going through as you watch this little girl lay in the hospital bed waiting for an organ. What is the latest update?
Unfortunately, she's still waiting. She's still waiting at the back of that line. There were no lungs last night. She's still desperately holding on to life. Unfortunately, UNOS yesterday rejected our plea, our second request for consideration for Sarah. So UNOS has said no, there'll be no exception for Sarah. There will be no movement. The children will stay at the back of the line.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about UNOS, the United Network for Organ Sharing, and that is the group that you need to petition to. You're saying they haven't changed their mind. The rule is that you have to be 12 to be able to get an adult lung, correct? And pediatric lungs are very rare.
Yeah, pretty much. What they do is they let the children stand at the back of the line after all the adults, and if all the adults don't want a lung, they'll give them to the children, which is not much different from not allowing them to get adult lungs. The reality is there's only 20 adult pediatric lungs every year, and there's 2,000 adult lungs. So by excluding the children from the adult lung pool, they're keeping the children from getting lungs. Mm-hmm. And the only lungs that are going to slide down to the kids are those that are really damaged or really diseased.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about how Sarah got into this situation. She suffers from cystic fibrosis, which is a genetic disorder. It affects the lungs, but she really only became sick about 18 months ago, right?
That's true. She's been battling the disease her whole life, but she became very ill 18 months ago, and she went on oxygen. She, couldn't go to school anymore. She couldn't do her normal things, and then about 100 days ago, she went into the hospital full-time and hasn't been out since.
I want to read the statement from OPTN, which is a different organization that's connected to the Health and Human Services Department with the United States government. The biological needs and circumstances of candidates younger than age 12 are different from either adolescent or adult candidates. One key difference is the size and lung capacity of donors and patients among these age ranges, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Your next step, Sharon, is to go to the Department of Health and Human Services. I understand you have a congressman who's made that first move.
Yes, Congressman Meehan has made that move for us. He's reaching out to the head of the Department of Health and Human Services to take up Sarah's plea and ask for the next set of adult lungs to go to Sarah. We believe there'll be quite a few others in the next day or two who take up this fight, mm-hmm. and we're hoping that people contact their congressmen and ask them to do just this for us, because we need this to be heard.
I know that you're asking for the help, and people can go to sign a petition as well. You had 61,000 signatures. That website is petition.org, change.org, right?
Yes, change.org, change.org. And we've, since yesterday, it was at 24,000 petitions. Now it's 60,000.
Okay.
We are so grateful to have the support of people who care about Sarah.
All right, Sharon, thank you so much. Change.org. Next on